Why have you guys been good in the red zone?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any secret to it. We've done okay executing on both sides of the ball, and defensively we're fortunate there because they've been moving the ball up and down the field pretty readily on us. So, we're going to have to continue to be good there, and offensively it's just, it's obviously good, especially if you're scoring touchdowns. That helps.
James's progression as a quarterback, how big of a benchmark would getting a first road win be for him?
Well, we just need it as a team. We need the win on the road. We haven't done that. We're 0 for 2 right now, and coincidentally we're on the road this week. So, but his role will be a big part of that. It won't be the only factor, but it certainly will be a big part, and I'm sure he'll be ready to go.
Do you think we'll see a Derby at linebacker Saturday?
I doubt it. I just what he did Saturday was really encouraging. This past Saturday, basically he ran down and did something that he's never had training for, and he did it better than most guys do after training. So that's a good sign. Did a nice job of avoiding a blocker and used a technique that he's probably seen done. I don't know if he's ever executed it. Maybe did in high school. Then made a nice tackle. So, it was really, for not really knowing what he was doing, that was pretty encouraging. And now the real work begins for him, really learning the calls, technique, all that type of thing. But based on that one play, that's certainly something that's, easy to get excited about. Now we can build from there. His attitude's good. I think he's excited about this whole challenge.
Put him on some more special teams then, possibly?
We'll continue. We were giving him a crash course last week. Started Tuesday, and I think if it's not this week, that's our goal, is to get him up and running. That'd be the first place he can hit the field, and I think it's realistic, based on what we saw Saturday.
How much of AJ's move over to linebacker is an indication that maybe Jake Ruddick is further along than you expected, or are you really happy with where he's at?
Yeah, we've only seen him for a couple of months, but we like what we see. But all that being said, he hasn't been in a game, and AJ really hadn't either. So. We don't know a lot about the quarterback position once you get past James. But it was also, the one thing about quarterbacks, only one can play. It's not like a running back that where you can rotate a couple guys through there. So, just in looking at our depth chart, our needs right now, and the propensity we've had for having a need of linebackers over the last 2 years, it just seemed like a logical move. And the other nice thing about it is, he's still got 3 years in the program, so it's a little bit beyond just this week or next week, but big term too. I think long term is going to be a positive thing for him.
Do you see him sticking at linebacker, or because he kind of has the frame where he could play defensive end possibly as well with some more pass?
Well, yeah, he's bigger than some of the guys we've had the way they started out. But our intent right now is for him to be a linebacker, and we haven't thought much beyond that.
DeAndre had a nice block on that touchdown pass to Brad Herman. Are you feeling more comfortable with him being in there?
Yeah, he. We want to put him in there the last 2 weeks if he hasn't been improving. He's improved in practice, and I think he's starting to come along, which is a positive, and we need that. And it was good having Kanzeri in there too last week. So, hopefully we're gaining a little ground with both those guys.
McCall's situation, and what can you realistically expect?
He did some things last week. We'll see what this week brings. But he's been cleared medically now, so that's a good thing. And that was last week. He was out there, in gear and all that type of thing. So it's just a matter of how quickly he can get caught up and how comfortable he feels. There's a big difference between being cleared medically and then being cleared to really be able to play. So that's the next hurdle for him to overcome. But we'll give him some work this week, see what happens.
How different is his situation with that of Marcus's last year? Both of them sustained broken bones early on, but Mikael had a full month of camp, whereas Marcus didn't. Are they about the same space?
Yeah, I think from that standpoint, Mikael would be much further ahead than Marcus would have been. But then I'd counter that just saying the injuries are a little bit different, and that the collarbones are pretty predictable, and we had a pretty good idea what the range would be and how he'd work back from that, and it was pretty much set in stone, and it worked out that way. Whereas with Mikael's, we'll see what happens. He hasn't really done a lot of hard cutting, a lot of hard this and that, and the nature of that position, it's Not that your collarbone's not a factor as a running back, but that lower leg stuff is. So we'll see how he does this week and next week's going forward.
Does he have a red jersey in practice or anything?
No, he's been in. It's just a matter, I think, how much he can do, and how much volume he can handle.
What's the agree with the amount of points your defense has given up in the last couple of weeks, and how are you addressing those concerns?
Anytime we give up any points, that's not good, and we're not playing well. First thing that jumps out at you if you look at the stats is just third down. We've got to do a better job on third down. That's probably the most obvious thing, and like most things, it's more complicated than that. Third down's a combination of a lot of different things. What you do first, second down, a lot of times plays into that. But I would say if we were looking for one thing to start with, those if you will, the makeable third downs. Third and longs, third and mediums, where our percentage should be high of getting off the field. We got to do a better job there. That'd be a good starting point.